Using this bubble and this board, I'm going to show you how to improve your exit velocity and power. By the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding of where power comes from. You'll know how to use it. You'll know how to engage your back hip, engage your engine, your power source, to be able to execute that swing that you've been looking for. This video is for serious players at any level. I work with professionals, college, high school, and even some 14U players. If you are not one of those players, this video is probably not for you. You might want to check out some other free content on the internet. But if you are one of those guys, you might want to stick around because I'm going to really show you today how to improve your game, show you how to get that power and exit velo that you've been looking for. This might be different than most hitting coaches you've ever worked with. I have a lot of experience in the game. I've worked with some of the best players in the game and have been in professional baseball a long time. You've probably tried other hitting instruction before, looked on the internet, had some private instruction possibly, and maybe haven't gotten results. People are constantly searching for the holy grail of hitting. I want to find that power, I want to find that move. I've been in professional baseball for 29 years. Most recently, a major league hitting coach and a hitting coordinator. I've used these drills and used these tools to watch hitters develop and change the way that they move. We've all been taught to spin on the ball our whole lives. Turn. I remember as a young player, they'd tell me to turn on it. And all I wanted to do was just spin my body. So now we're going to train with these two tools how to move efficiently with our hip rotating under our spine, which is a more difficult movement than just squashing a bug or pivoting.
All right, let's get right into it. JD Martinez here up on the screen. Little fuzzy video. I promise the video quality will get better as we go. Here you have JD with the board in between his leg, just taking full swings. And what he's working on is getting this back hip to turn underneath his body without his front side making that move. So he wants his front side to stay quiet. You have a squeezing action with the wood plank here. And then as he starts to swing and move forward, you'll see that back hip turn underneath him. Both feet keeping a hold on the board. And he is again trying to move that belt buckle ever so lightly towards the catcher to cock the back hip, and then it starts to turn underneath him. Again, training moves that you will later need to engage the ground. Look at a full swing here. Again, that back hip turning underneath him. There's that back hip really turning as his feet stay under the ground. Now he's going to knock the board out and take some normal swings. He's trying to create that feel of that back hip in the ground and not turning and squashing a bug. He wants that hip to turn underneath him. That's the powerful move that we're trying to create. Minor league player, Chicago White Sox system. He's got a bat similar to that board between his feet there, and you can use one of those short bats. Again, doing some soft toss, training that back hip to turn underneath him without spinning. Look at another one. We have Oscar Colas, major league player with the White Sox, working on some drills with that board as well, keeping that hip underneath him as he turns, keep staying grounded. One more example. White Sox minor league player, again with the bat between his legs. There's the back hip turning underneath him, both feet staying into the ground. Here you can see the hip engage as the belt buckle turns toward the catcher ever so slightly, and then starts to turn underneath his spine to get through the ball. Now we move to the bubbles. The bubbles can be used in the back to engage the engine, in the front to train the brakes, or both at the same time. Here's a young player working on getting into his engine and using that bubble as a tutor to feel the engine engage to the ground. Again, notice how he's trying to keep his foot on the ground as long as he can into the bubble to really feel that hip turn underneath him. Great example of how it's supposed to look, keeping that back hip engaged, but your foot still on the ground or on the bubble as long as you can. The best hitters in baseball working two bubbles. Again, he's doing some one-hand drills. He's got a little stride involved, but as you can see, that back hip turning underneath him, his foot staying on the bubble. He's training that engine to stay in the ground, stay engaged, and use his back hip as a driving force. Working top hand. Again, notice the engine, notice the hip underneath him. Notice how he's cocking those hips, and then that back hip driving underneath his spine and not around his spine, keeping that foot on the bubble as long as he can. Another variation, young player here, working on his engine with a one-hand drill. Again, training that hip to stay in the ground. This is a little bit of a hybrid move. He's got one foot on the brakes. He's going to do a little step back into the back hip and then keep that back foot on the ground as long as he can. Working the brakes, working the gas. One foot on the brakes, one foot on the gas. This is just some front leg brake work right here, trying to get that front leg to stabilize as the back hip drives forward. He's still working on his engine. He's still trying to enhance his power source because we need both to work. We need the brakes and the gas to work together. Here's JD hitting off a machine with his foot on the bubble. Again, trying to keep that foot in the ground as long as he can. We have Xander Bogaerts with a little marinade of the drill, doing some one arm with a stride onto the brakes, trying to feel the ground, trying to feel his hip underneath him. All of this work in an effort for the move to look like this. Notice how he puts on the brakes, and here comes the gas, driving against that firm front side. But that first move is turning underneath his spine, not around. There's no spin. And then it's just drive forward. So you want the secret to bat speed and exit velocity. It's in the lower half. It's using that hip to stay in the ground as long as you can, using the brakes to stabilize your front side, and then really control the ground by driving against that firm front side and creating backspin line drives all over the field. These two simple tools can really improve your bat speed and power with a training regimen every day and drill packages, and you can make moves like this.
Recently, I've been working with players in Power 5 schools in both softball and baseball, as well as high school and 14U prospects around the country. They're using my program to improve their movements, improve their approach at the plate, and improve their mindset. I have a mental skills program where I meet with players once a week. We go over their progress. It's been great to get to work with these players, to watch their growth. Mechanical movements are so important. We want to be connected to the ground so a player has a power source and has confidence in their ability to be efficient. What we want to eliminate are big movements. Those can be detrimental to a hitter. We want efficient, tight turns, and we want a power source driving the way. After mechanics, though, you need the mental game. You have to be able to know how to reset your mind and get to present moments. It's been great to see these players progress and work with them through their journeys, and I look forward to working with more along the way. If you're that player and you want to take your game to the next level, where you can get in that power source and drive through the ball, your exit velocity goes up, people start paying attention to you, who's that guy swinging the bat? I have a lot of success stories early in the season. ACC softball player, made the lineup when she didn't think she was going to going into the season. She's hitting 300 right now and third on her team in hitting. Everybody wants to play at a higher level. If you're on JV, you want to play on varsity. If you're on varsity, there's many of you who want to play college baseball. All college players, for the most part, aspire to play professionally one day. We're all trying to find our way there. So you have to learn how to do it. You have to learn how to do it both physically, mentally, even emotionally, how to deal with the game as you. How would your life look if you're able to get to that next level? If you're able to achieve that because of something you learned in a program from a professional who's been around it for half of his life. What could this mean to you working with me? It could change your life. You could go from sitting on the bench to starting like some of my clients have. You could go from not hitting for power to now hitting for power, as some of my clients have. So if you're ready to finally figure out the correct mechanics, ready to learn about mental game and how to start applying mental skills to your game, and finally, if you're ready to learn how to apply an approach and take that into a game where you can execute, then send me a DM, book a call, and we can get started right away.